Okay, so this is the new license agreement for Lord Ash's Talespire plugins. There was recently a controversy about the amount of power that a content developer, or specifically a plugin developer, should have. In my opinion, and those that are supporting me, if a plugin is being misused, if a player or a user has missed the 6 or so signs that clearly state do not use this plugin, and they, despite those warnings, still use it, then in my opinion, the content developer or plugin developer should have the right to prank, heckle, or whatever the user for misusing their software. There are those on the opposing side that are yelling and screaming that this is abuse of power and that we should baby the users even if they are completely disrespecting us and violating the terms of the Discord server, but we should still baby them and not prank them or anything like that. So we have come to some kind of a middle ground. I originally wanted to pull my plugins and just make them available to the users that are willing to accept my style, but that would put undue stress on those users that are using my plugins properly. So this agreement is kind of the middle ground. The idea here is that when a user uses any of my plugins, the first time they will get this license agreement. It basically goes through and tells them what to expect from my style, and they have an opportunity to either accept that or reject that. If they accept that, then they will be able to use any of my Lord Ash's plugins, whether or not they are already installed or not. So basically any future plugins will fall under this category, or plugins that they haven't installed yet will all be cleared if they accept the agreement. And if they don't accept the agreement, they will be taken right back to Talespire to continue their game, but all of the Lord Ash's plugins will in that case be disabled. This way, those who are willing to accept my style can go on and use my plugins, and those that do not like my style can reject them, but this way there will be no surprises. So this is what the agreement looks like. Just recaps what I just said, and if we look at the terms, they're pretty simple, nothing out of the ordinary. So term 1, for occasions like April Fools, there may be pranks included in the plugins. None of these will prevent the use of the plugin or significantly impede any plugin functionality. Some of them may have a little bit of adult innuendos, such as that on April Fool's Day of the data asset plugin, if anybody noticed their main page. But they will all be safe for work. Not that you should be playing Talespire at work. Number 2, basically this is the crux of the conflict. So I'm writing here that if plugins are not used according to the usage documentation, then the plugin may range from not working to heckling the user if inappropriate use is detected, or the plugin may play pranks on the user if inappropriate use is detected. So there you go, right there. Anybody who looks at that will be able to tell that if they don't play by the rules, they will get screwed. Then we have number 3 and number 4. Those are for people seeking assistance or support for plugins. So number 3 basically says, if you are seeking assistance or support and provide an obvious lack of information, then you may get anything from no response to sarcastic and snarky responses, to grumpy responses, or even prank responses. Once again, if anything involves a prank, it will be harmless, and anybody with common sense will be able to determine that it is a prank. such as a hard drive format. Do you really think that I would go and format your hard drive? No, I'd get sued and I would be penniless. And the last case here is if you want support, unless you're unable to do so, please provide your Talespire logs because it is still the best tool for diagnosing problems. Screenshots are usually not sufficient because we need to see what led up to the problem and not just what the problem is. Alright, so those are basically the terms, that's it. Nothing really surprising there, except for the fact that if you misuse the plugin, you can be screwed. So then you get a final page here that basically is a accept or reject. If you press the reject button, you will be taken right back to Talespire, where you can continue your Talespire experience, but all of the Lord Ashes plugins will be disabled. They will not be uninstalled. I don't touch that. That's yours, but they will not work. If you choose to accept, then as a lovely visual, your name will be written across the contract. You do not need to type it. It will do that for you automatically. And then it will unfortunately tell you that you need to restart Talespire in order to now activate those plugins, because those plugins all loaded prior to you signing this and they therefore are disabled. So by restarting your Talespire, you will get full use of those plugins. Once again, this is a one-time agreement, so on successive loads of Talespire, this will not show up. This will only show up the once. I mean, if you reject it, then it'll come up again, unless you uninstall it. But once you accept it, it won't ask again. The only exception to that is the agreement is on a Steam user basis. So if you have multiple Steam user accounts, you will need to accept the agreement for each one of those. But otherwise, it will remember that you have signed it, and you will no longer be hassled by the agreement. So let's accept. So you can see my username has been added to the contract. I can continue, and it tells me to please restart my Talespire. And once I do, I will have access to all that lovely Lord Ashes plugins. So once again, the aim here is to make users aware of what they can expect if they use Lord Ashes plugins,